Most people don't realize how much posture tells the world about them. The way you stand, walk, and carry yourself often speaks louder than your words. For women, a stooped posture can create an impression of fatigue, lack of confidence, or even add unnecessary years to their appearance. But here's the thing, posture isn't just about looks, it's about energy, health, and the message you send every time you enter a room. Today, let's talk about the 6 signs of a stooped woman and what they really mean. Rounded shoulders are one of the most common and noticeable signs of a stooped posture. You can spot it almost instantly. The shoulders roll forward, the chest caves in, and the back curves as if the body is trying to fold in on itself. At first glance, it might not seem like a big deal. Everyone hunches a little when they're tired, right? But when this posture becomes habitual, it does more than affect the way someone looks. It shapes the way people see her, and even more importantly, the way she sees herself. Think about walking into a room where someone is standing tall, shoulders pulled back. Without saying a word, that person communicates confidence, openness, and readiness. Now compare that with someone who walks in with rounded shoulders. Instantly, the impression changes. She seems smaller, less certain, maybe even burdened. The body language sends a quiet message of withdrawal. It's almost as if the shoulders are carrying an invisible load that's too heavy to set down. But the truth is, rounded shoulders aren't just about body image or perception. They carry real physical consequences. When the shoulders roll forward, the chest tightens, the lungs can't expand fully, and breathing becomes shallow. Over time, this limits energy levels, making her feel more fatigued than she actually is. And here's the irony, the more tired she feels, the more she slouches, and the cycle keeps repeating itself. What starts as poor posture gradually becomes a physical habit that feels natural, even though it's draining her strength. There's also a deeper psychological layer to this. Rounded shoulders often accompany emotions like insecurity, self-doubt, or even sadness. The body mirrors the mind. When someone feels the weight of responsibility, shame, or stress, it literally shows up in their stance. It's as if the body is protecting itself by closing off, curling inward, and trying not to be seen. And even if she isn't consciously aware of it, the posture sends a silent message to the world. I don't want to take up space. The danger is other people don't separate the posture from the person. They don't say, oh, she just has tight shoulders from sitting at a desk. They say, she doesn't look confident. And the more others respond to her that way, the more she begins to believe it herself. That's how posture sneaks in and begins shaping identity. The good news: rounded shoulders are fixable. The first step is awareness. Catching those moments when the shoulders are rolling forward and gently pulling them back, not with stiffness or force, but with intention. A simple cue like open the chest can reset the body in seconds. Strengthening the back muscles and stretching the chest can also retrain the body to find its natural alignment again. And beyond the physical corrections, there's a mindset shift, reminding herself that she has the right to take up space, to stand tall, to be seen. Because at the end of the day, rounded shoulders aren't just about posture. They're about presence. And presence matters in every room she walks into. The forward head tilt is one of those subtle posture issues that most people don't even realize they're doing. but it says so much without a single word being spoken. Imagine the head jutting out in front of the body, like a turtle reaching out of its shell. At first, it may seem harmless, almost invisible. But when you start noticing it, you see how it shifts the entire presence of a woman. Instead of appearing aligned and composed, it looks strained, hesitant, or even submissive. It gives the impression of leaning forward into the world with uncertainty, almost as if waiting for approval before taking the next step. The truth is, the forward head posture rarely comes out of nowhere. It's usually the result of long hours at a desk, staring at a screen, scrolling on a phone, or even years of carrying stress without resetting the body. The neck starts to push forward, the chin juts out, and before long, this becomes the default position. It might feel comfortable at first, but it places enormous pressure on the spine. The head is heavy, about 10 to 12 pounds. And when it leans forward, that weight multiplies on the neck and shoulders. This is why so many people with this posture complain about chronic tension headaches, tight shoulders, or a stiff neck. But the physical strain is only part of the story. The forward head tilt also affects the way others perceive her. When someone's head leans forward, it gives the subtle impression of uncertainty, like she's peering out to see if it's okay to be here. It's a posture that reads less like strength and more like questioning. In a professional setting, this can make her look less assured. In personal relationships, it can give off a sense of hesitation or timidity. People might not consciously say it, but the body language translates to, I'm not fully confident in where I stand. What's even more interesting is how posture and mindset loop together. A woman with a forward head tilt might start to internalize the message her body is sending. She may feel more cautious, less secure, or even more drained because her body is literally out of alignment. When the head juts forward, breathing becomes more shallow, energy drops, and fatigue sneaks in. The body that is out of balance starts convincing the mind that it's struggling too. Correcting this posture doesn't just mean pulling the head back once in a while. It's about retraining the body to find its natural alignment. Imagine stacking the head directly over the shoulders, with the ears in line with the collarbones. It may feel strange at first, even unnatural, because the body has adapted to leaning forward. But the more she practices this alignment, the more natural it becomes. Gentle strengthening of the upper back and neck muscles can support this shift, while awareness throughout the day can stop the old habit from creeping back. Ultimately, the forward head tilt isn't just a physical posture, it's a statement. It can unintentionally say, I'm uncertain, when she really wants to say, I belong here. By reclaiming her alignment, she doesn't just correct her stance. She reclaims her presence. A collapsed chest is one of the clearest physical signals of a stooped posture, and it tells a story the moment someone walks into the room. When the chest caves inward, the shoulders pull forward, and the upper body seems to fold in on itself. At a glance, it looks like she's retreating, shrinking from visibility, avoiding attention, or simply weighed down. The body that should be open and expansive instead appears closed, guarded, and small. It's not just about posture, it's about what that posture communicates. Physically, a collapsed chest does more damage than people realize. The chest isn't just a frame, it's a gateway for breath. When the chest caves in, the lungs don't get the full room to expand. breathing becomes shallow, and that one change alone alters everything. Energy levels drop, the voice weakens, and even focus is harder to sustain. What looks like fatigue or lack of motivation may actually be the result of this restricted breathing pattern. The body is designed to take in deep, expansive breaths, but a collapsed chest cuts that capacity short. And when oxygen is limited, so is vitality. Beyond the physical, a collapsed chest is a posture of emotion. It often mirrors feelings of insecurity, stress, or sadness. The body folds inward as if protecting the heart, shielding vulnerability from the world. And while this may feel like a subconscious act of self-protection, it also creates a visible message. I don't want to be seen. It's the kind of posture that can make even the strongest person appear doubtful, hesitant, or submissive, whether or not that's true inside. The social impact is just as powerful. When a woman with a collapsed chest enters a space, people may unconsciously read her as lacking confidence. They might assume she's nervous, uncertain, or disengaged, even if she isn't. Posture influences perception, and perception shapes opportunities. Someone who stands tall, chest open, is seen as confident and ready. Someone who folds inward is seen as unsure. And those judgments, fair or not, influence the way others respond. But here's the hopeful part: a collapsed chest is one of the easiest postural habits to correct. It begins with awareness, catching the moment when the shoulders roll forward and choosing instead to lift the chest slightly, opening the space across the collarbones. Even a simple cue like imagining a string pulling the sternum upward can reset the body instantly. With regular practice, this shift starts to feel natural, and the collapsed position feels foreign instead of comfortable. Strengthening the muscles of the upper back and stretching the front of the body accelerates this transformation, giving the chest room to stay open with ease. The deeper shift, however, is in mindset. Opening the chest isn't just a physical act, it's a declaration. It says, I am here, I deserve this space, and I am not hiding. It's an act of confidence, even on the days when confidence feels low. Because sometimes the body has to lead and the mind follows. And when a woman learns to stand with her chest lifted and open, she doesn't just change the way others see her. She changes the way she sees herself. A bent upper back, often called a hunch, is one of the most recognizable signs of a stooped posture. It's the curve that forms when the spine rounds forward, pulling the head and shoulders with it. At first, it may look like simple tiredness, the kind of slouch that comes after a long day at work. But when this posture becomes habitual, it does much more than create a curve in the spine. It creates a curve in how a woman is seen, and even in how she feels about herself. The physical toll of a hunched back is significant. The spine is meant to carry the body's weight in alignment, with each vertebra supporting the next. When the upper back bends forward, that natural balance disappears. The muscles between the shoulder blades weaken, while the muscles in the chest tighten. Over time, this imbalance makes it harder to stand tall even when she tries. The body gets stuck in the forward bend, and it begins to feel almost normal. This is why so many women with a hunch complain about stiffness, aching shoulders, or constant neck pain. The posture itself creates the discomfort, and the discomfort makes the posture worse. Beyond the physical strain, there's an unmistakable emotional weight in the image of a hunched back. It carries the unspoken look of someone worn down, Someone carrying burdens too heavy to set aside. The curve suggests fatigue, defeat, or even resignation. Whether true or not, that's how it comes across. People may interpret her posture as a lack of confidence, a sign of fragility, or an indication that she's retreating from the world. And once again, those outside perceptions can start to seep inward, shaping her self-image in ways she may not realize. The hunch also affects the way she interacts with her environment. When the back bends forward, the chest collapses and the gaze often tilts downward. This creates a sense of disconnection, less eye contact, less openness, less engagement. It's as if the body is saying, "I'd rather not be seen." In a room full of people, this posture can make her fade into the background, even if she has every reason to be front and center. The hopeful truth is that a hunched back, while stubborn, is not permanent. With awareness, strength training, and consistent effort, the posture can be corrected. Exercises that strengthen the upper back and stretch the chest gradually retrain the body to open up. Simply practicing standing against a wall, feeling the back flatten and the shoulders pull into alignment can help the spine remember its natural curve. More importantly, each act of standing tall reinforces a deeper message that she is not defined by the weight she carries, but by the way she chooses to carry herself. Because a bent back doesn't only bend the body, it bends the spirit. But when she begins to reclaim her posture, to straighten that curve, something shifts. She looks taller, yes. But more than that, she feels lighter. And that lightness is what the world sees first. Weak core engagement is one of those hidden signs of a stoop posture that most people don't notice at first glance, but its effects are everywhere. The core is more than just the stomach muscles. It's the entire center of the body, the foundation that keeps everything stable and aligned. When a woman doesn't engage her core, it's like trying to build a house on soft ground. The structure might still stand, but it wobbles, shifts, and never feels fully secure. That lack of stability shows up in the way she stands, sits, and even walks. Without core support, she appears unbalanced, fragile, or unsure of herself, even when she's not aware of it. Physically, weak core engagement causes the spine to overwork. Instead of the body being supported from the center outward, all the weight falls onto the back and hips. The shoulders slump, the stomach protrudes, and the lower back may arch too much to compensate. This not only creates the look of stoop posture, but also leads to long-term strain and pain. Many women who suffer from constant back aches or poor balance don't realize the root of the issue isn't just the back itself. It's the silent absence of core strength keeping everything in place. But the impact of weak core engagement is more than physical. The way a woman carries herself reflects how grounded she feels. A strong, active core gives an impression of stability, presence, and readiness. On the other hand, when the core is disengaged, her body looks as if it could topple or sway with the slightest push. It sends a subtle message of uncertainty. I'm not fully anchored. People may not consciously identify it, but they feel it in the energy she gives off. It's that little difference between someone who stands firmly in a room versus someone who seems to drift around the edges. This lack of engagement can also influence the mind. When the body feels unstable, the brain receives signals of imbalance, and that can translate into emotional states like nervousness or insecurity. It's a loop Weak core posture makes her feel less secure, and feeling less secure reinforces the weak posture. Over time, she might begin to internalize the instability, believing she doesn't have the strength or control she actually does. The encouraging part is that core engagement is not about looking toned or having a flat stomach. It's about reconnecting with the body's natural center of power. Simply drawing the belly button slightly inward, aligning the ribs with the hips, and breathing deeply into the diaphragm can reset everything. When the core activates, the spine straightens, the shoulders open, and the entire presence changes. It's a quiet shift, but one that radiates strength. In truth, weak core engagement isn't just a matter of posture. It's about identity. A woman who reconnects with her core not only finds physical stability, but also emotional grounding. She carries herself differently, speaks with more confidence, and moves with purpose. And in that alignment, others don't just see her standing tall, they feel her strength before she even says a word. Low physical presence is one of the most telling signs of a stooped woman, though it's not always obvious at first. It's less about a single posture detail and more about the overall impression she gives off when she enters a room. Presence is the energy a person carries, the way they stand, the way they move, the way they take up space without saying a word. When a woman has low physical presence, it shows in how small she makes herself appear. Shoulders rounded, chest caved in, eyes often lowered, movements subtle and hesitant. The body language communicates withdrawal, like she's trying not to disturb anyone, trying not to take up too much space. What's important to understand is that presence isn't about size or loudness. It's not about being the biggest personality or the most dramatic voice in the room. Presence is about alignment, confidence, and energy. When posture collapses into itself, when the body isn't grounded and open, presence fades. People may glance at her and then quickly look past, not because she isn't valuable, but because her body language quietly says, "Don't notice me." The impact of this goes deeper than perception. A woman with low physical presence often begins to feel invisible, overlooked, or undervalued. Opportunities can slip by simply because others don't register her as engaged or confident. She may have incredible ideas, strong skills, or powerful insight, but if her body is signaling withdrawal, her voice is less likely to be heard. It's a painful irony. The very posture meant to protect her from attention ends up reinforcing the sense of being unseen. Low presence also affects her internally. The body and mind are always in conversation, and when the body folds in, the mind often follows. She may start to believe she doesn't belong, that her contributions don't matter, that she should stay in the background. Over time, this can shape self-image in a way that feels hard to break. The world seems to respond to her as if she is small, and she begins to accept that story as truth. But presence is not fixed. It's something that can be reclaimed, rebuilt, and strengthened through awareness and choice. Sometimes it begins with something as small as standing with feet firmly grounded, pulling the shoulders back, lifting the chest, and meeting eyes with the world. These are physical actions, yes, but they send powerful signals back to the brain. I am here. I belong. Over time, those signals shift her internal state, and she starts to feel the confidence her posture reflects. Reclaiming presence isn't about becoming someone else. It's about allowing the body to reflect the strength, intelligence, and worth that are already there. When a woman stands tall, when she breathes deeply and lets her body open instead of close, she doesn't just look more confident, she feels more confident. And when she feels it, everyone else feels it too. Low presence disappears, replaced by a quiet but undeniable strength that fills the room the moment she walks in. Posture may look like nothing more than the way we carry our body, but it's really the way we carry our story. Rounded shoulders, a forward head tilt, a collapsed chest, a hunched back, a weak core, and low presence are not just physical habits. They're signals. Signals to the world about how we feel, and sometimes even signals to ourselves about who we believe we are. The good news is, none of these signs are permanent. With awareness, small adjustments, and the willingness to stand taller, a woman can rewrite the message her body is sending. She can breathe deeper, move with more strength, and show up with a presence that says, I belong here. Because posture is not just about the spine, it's about identity. And when a woman chooses to rise, both her body and her spirit rise with her.